You know that feeling that whatever you do, someone somewhere is secretly giving you a grade, even if no one has actually said anything to you? You finish a work call and immediately start rating your performance. You meet friends and replay what you said, wondering whether you sounded interesting enough. You scroll through social media and your brain quietly adds your likes and views to some invisible total of whether you are winning or losing at life. On the outside, you might look fine, even successful. On the inside, it feels like you are constantly taking an exam you never signed up for, with rules no one explained, and the result is always the same feeling: not quite enough. In this video, you and I are going to unpack that feeling. We will give it a name, understand why your brain builds this invisible scoreboard in the first place, and you will leave with a small toolkit to notice it in real time and shift what you are actually playing for. And in a few minutes, I will give you one very simple question that, if you remember to ask it, can instantly show you whether you are living for the scoreboard or for your real values. For now, just keep that question in the back of your mind as a key we will come back to. Let us start with a name. I call this pattern the Invisible Scoreboard. It is not a real app on your phone, but your brain treats it like one. The Invisible Scoreboard is the mental habit of turning ordinary moments into a competition or an evaluation, where you constantly track how well you are doing according to hidden metrics. These metrics might be how productive you were today, how many people approved of you, whether you were the smartest in the room, or even whether you are healing fast enough as a person. It is not the same as having goals. Goals are specific and conscious. The Invisible Scoreboard is more like a vague, always-on ranking system humming in the background, making you feel like you are either ahead or behind without ever saying what the game actually is. If this is you, you are not broken. You are doing something extremely human. Your brain is a prediction machine designed to track social safety. For most of human history, your survival depended on belonging to a group. Being rejected or falling behind in the tribe could literally mean danger. So your nervous system learned to constantly ask, am I still okay here? Am I safe? Am I valuable enough to keep? Modern life has changed, but this ancient program has not. The grades at school, the comments from parents, the subtle comparisons between siblings, the pressure to be the star student or the quiet child, social media likes, performance reviews at work, even therapy progress charts. All of this gives your brain scores to latch onto. Over time, it quietly merges them into one big scoreboard that says, this is how I know I am allowed to exist and relax. In practice, it feels like you do not get to simply be. You feel like you always have to be justifying your place, proving something in your relationships, your job, even your hobbies. You cannot just read a book, you have to read enough books. You cannot just rest, you have to rest in a productive way. You cannot just talk to someone, you have to be interesting, helpful, entertaining, or wise. The Invisible Scoreboard is not only exhausting, it is also rigged. No matter what you achieve, the target moves. You get a promotion, someone else is already ahead. You post something and it does well, but not as well as that other creator. You finally set a boundary, and your brain still says, but did you do it perfectly? The cost of this is bigger than just tiredness. It slowly eats away at your ability to feel joy without a reason. It makes your relationships transactional, because subconsciously you are always measuring whether you gave enough, got enough, impressed enough. It can make you say yes to things you do not want to do, just to avoid a low score of being selfish or lazy. Your self-respect becomes fragile because one bad day can feel like collapsing the entire structure. If you are recognizing yourself here, you can even pause this video mentally for a moment and ask, what are the metrics my inner scoreboard cares about the most? Is it achievement, approval, being right, being needed, being admired, never making mistakes? If one answer jumps out at you, you can write it down or even share it in the comments if you want to see how many other people play the same invisible game. To change this pattern, you need more than just affirmations. You and I are going to build a small toolkit together, not to destroy the scoreboard, because your brain will always track something, but to change what you are tracking and to make it conscious. We will talk about 3 tools: the scoreboard snapshot, the metric swap, and the enough experiment. Think of them as small mental levers you can pull in real situations. The first tool is the scoreboard snapshot. Its purpose is simple: make the invisible visible. When you feel pressure rise, when you notice you are overthinking how you came across, or when you feel strangely empty after doing something you thought would make you happy, stop for a brief moment and ask yourself, what game does my mind think I am playing right now, and what is it trying to score? Suppose you are in a meeting and you notice you are not actually listening to others. You are busy crafting the perfect comment in your head. In that moment, you can quietly ask, okay, what is my mind trying to score here? Maybe the answer is being the smartest person in the room, or not sounding stupid, or being seen as the most hardworking. The moment you name it, you create a little distance. You move from being inside the game to watching the game. You might even notice how childish or outdated some of the metrics feel, like a younger version of you trying to impress a parent or a teacher. The scoreboard snapshot does not tell you what to do yet. It just turns a foggy feeling of pressure into a clear sentence. Try it within the next 24 hours. The next time you notice tension in your chest around performing, ask your brain that question. What game do you think we are playing, and what are you scoring? You might be surprised by how repetitive the answers are. The second tool is the metric swap. Once you know what your invisible scoreboard is tracking, you can decide whether those metrics actually match the life you want now. The idea is not to stop caring about everything, but to consciously choose a different set of points. Instead of asking, "Did I win according to some external standard?" you practice asking, "Did I live according to my own values in this moment?" For example, imagine you are going to a social event where you usually feel awkward, and afterward you judge yourself for not being entertaining enough. Your current metric might be, how interesting did people find me on a scale from 1 to 10? Before you go, you do a little metric swap. You pick a new metric that reflects who you want to be. Maybe it is, how present and curious was I with at least one person? Or, did I show up honestly instead of pretending? During the event, every time your old scoreboard starts calculating, you gently redirect it. Instead of replaying that one sentence you think sounded weird, you ask, "Did I show up and stay curious with this person?" Even if you were quiet, if you listened deeply and did not fake a version of yourself, you score it as a win. Over time, this slowly retrains your nervous system. You start associating social safety not with performing but with alignment. You can do this at work too. Instead of scoring your day only by productivity, you add a new metric like, "Did I protect even one block of focused time today?" Or, "Did I communicate honestly about my limits?" The brain likes numbers, so you can even keep a simple journal. At the end of the day, give yourself a score from 1 to 5 on your chosen value metrics, not just on your achievements. The third tool is the enough experiment. The invisible scoreboard almost always runs on an unwritten rule. More is better, and there is no clear endpoint. That is why even your self-improvement can turn into another way to feel behind. The enough experiment is about setting a conscious floor instead of chasing a ceiling. Before you start an activity that usually triggers your inner evaluator, you decide in advance what good enough will look like in a way that is small and realistic. For example, if you are writing an email and you tend to rewrite it 5 times to sound perfect, you can say good enough today means I write one clear version, check it once for mistakes, and then send it. When your brain starts shouting, "But we could make this smarter, more impressive, more thorough," you gently remind it, "We already decided the rules of this game." The goal is not to maximize admiration. The goal is to communicate clearly and protect my energy. Another scenario, you want to start going to the gym or exercising at home, but your invisible scoreboard compares you to fitness influencers, so you give up after 2 days. The enough experiment would be, for the next week, good enough means 10 minutes of movement, even if it is just walking in my room or stretching. If I do those 10 minutes, I score full points. Anything beyond that is a bonus, not a requirement. This experiment trains your nervous system to feel completion instead of endless failure. It is not about lowering standards forever. It is about proving to your brain that you are allowed to stop without being in danger. Notice how these tools work together. The scoreboard snapshot names the game. The metric swap changes what counts as points. The enough experiment gives your body a felt sense that the game can actually end and you can rest. None of this means you stop striving or caring. In fact, when you are not constantly trying to prove your worth, you usually end up doing better work and having deeper relationships because your energy is no longer burned by fear. Remember the curiosity loop from the beginning, the simple question that reveals whether you are living for the scoreboard or for your real values. Here it is. In this moment, am I trying to be worthy or am I trying to be present? When you are trying to be worthy, your attention is on the imaginary judge. How they see you, what they will think, how this will look on your internal report card. When you are trying to be present, your attention is on the reality in front of you, the person you are talking to, the task at hand, the sensations in your body, the value you want to express. Ask this question the next time you feel anxious before speaking up, posting something online, or saying no. There is no shame if the honest answer is, "I am chasing worth again." That is just data. Once you see it, you can gently shift. What would it look like to be present instead in the next 30 seconds? Maybe presence means feeling your feet on the floor while you talk. Maybe it means looking into the other person's eyes and actually hearing them. Maybe it means saying, I am not sure, but here is what I think right now, and letting that be enough. If you want, you can share in the comments one situation where you notice your brain flipping into worthiness mode and how it might look to choose presence instead. You may discover that many people have almost the same moments. Throughout this whole process, I want you to hold two truths at the same time. First, this pattern is not your fault. Your invisible scoreboard was built out of experiences where it really did feel like love, safety, and respect depended on performance. Maybe it was subtle, like only getting affection when you achieved something. Maybe it was loud, like constant criticism or comparison. Your mind learned a rule: if I am impressive, I am allowed to be here. That rule kept you going. In that sense, it was a survival strategy, not a character flaw. Second, now that you can see it, you are no longer only the player inside the game. You can also be the designer. You can notice when your body tightens around performance, take a scoreboard snapshot, swap the metrics to align with your actual values, and run small enough experiments that let your nervous system taste the feeling of closing the book for today without failing the test of life. This is not a one-day fix. It is more like slowly changing the code of a program that has been running for years. Some days you will forget. Some days you will remember only after the fact. That is still progress. Every time you catch the invisible scoreboard in action, you are building a different kind of awareness, the sense that you are more than your current score. As we wrap up, take a moment to summarize this for yourself in one sentence. For example, my mind runs an invisible scoreboard to feel safe, but I can choose new metrics based on presence, honesty, and enoughness. If you write down your own version of that sentence and keep it somewhere you see often, you will be reminding your brain that there is another way to live. And if this video helped you see your own patterns more clearly and gave you a few tools you can actually try in the next week, I invite you to stay with this work. Like, share, and subscribe to Mind Unlocked, not just as a favor to the channel, but as a small commitment to yourself to keep building a mental toolkit for better thinking, clearer communication, and deeper self-understanding, so that week by week, the scoreboard in your head becomes less about proving your worth and more about living a life that actually feels like yours.